without further ado, I'm going to pass this on to TS Candii and Assemblymember Latrice Walker to talk about the Walking While Trans bill.
Hey, how's everybody doing? It's Latrice Walker. I don't see my boo coming in. There you go. Hey, beautiful.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm not as good as you, but I am hanging in there. I am in Albany, and we are just finishing up with conference. And so I'm getting ready to head out of here. And it's cold, but, you know, our hearts are warm. But how you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm currently licking my wounds. We are very excited down here. We're hearing the great news that is happening up there in Albany, and great leaders like yourself who has been holding the bills and holding everyone accountable and standing at the front face. You know, at the front face of this bill, and we just down here celebrating because we hearing that on the 2nd of February the 1st that they're supposed to be calling on the assembly side, calling the bill to the floor.
Yes, well, that's definitely what the plan is. But let me tell you something. I've learned a long time ago that I don't take my victory laps before I've crossed the finish line. And so the pressure still needs to remain on with respect to getting this bill across. And now there are many different versions, you know, of the bill, and many different conversations and different priorities that different folk have and have had. But one of the things we wanted to make sure that not just any bill will do. We wanted to make sure that the bill that we've done was a bill that we all could live with. And, you know, one of the things that was important, at least from my perspective, is, so I have the beautiful pleasure of representing Brownsville, Brooklyn, and East New York. And there were a number of situations, particularly some folk who were very close to me, who would call me from Rikers Island. Of course, I was an attorney. I grew up in the projects. I was the only lawyer that they could touch, see, you know, and feel each and every day. And when I would get those telephone calls, it was particularly because, you know, very good friends of mine were arrested and picked up because of a situation that went bad, and someone who didn't make good on their side of the plan. And when they were encouraged to do what it was that they were supposed to do and keep their end of the bargain, instead of making sure that they did what they contracted to do, they instead called 911, and that encounter wound up being a robbery charge, or some other you know, trumped up charge that people just didn't need to deal with, because we know in Black and brown communities we've always dealt with over policing. And then when we get a record or any type of interaction with the police department, it affects not just that one particular incident, but if you plan to go to college, you know, your criminal background record comes up. If you want to get housing, your criminal background record comes up. If you try to get a job, I mean, it just basically hinders your upward mobility coming out of a life of poverty that we are all trying to come up out of so we can continue to live our best lives. But the shackles of the criminal justice system really keeps us from doing that. And so while we look forward to the bill's passage, we wanted to make sure and ensure that there is a ceiling provision that goes along with it, because we recognize that just because a few people in this day and age have been picked up on different charges within the industry, we know that in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, that we are talking about thousands of people who've been affected by this, and they need justice. And so we wanted to make sure, and I will definitely say that this was definitely something that I've kept my finger on the pulse of because of my work in criminal justice reform, that while this is about labor liberation, while this is about racial liberation, while this is about sexual liberation, that this must also be about the liberation from slavery and the handcuffs of the criminal justice system that so many of us are subjected to. And so I look forward to next week. I look forward to debating it, discussing it on the floor. And so I am just so proud of all of the wonderful work that you've been committed to, because making sure that, you know, there's always a racial implication to everything that happens. And a lot of times people try to look past that. But Black trans lives matter. We want to let you know that. And at the end of the day, I can't help it because I'm Black, blackity black, black, black. That, you know, it's just a badge of honor that I wear. And I am not ashamed. I'm unabashed and ready to get the job done. And so thank you so much for all of your faith in me, because you have taught me so much. And you have really given me so much dignity to continue to move this thing forward. So God bless you. And we got a lot more work to do.
Thank you, thank you. And for those that don't know about the Walking While Trans ban, it's called the Loitering for the Purpose of Prostitution. It's a law that's been in effect for over 44 years. There have been over 90,000 individuals that has been arrested and charged with this record. I mean, this crime on their record just simply by existing. It's a stop and frisk 2.0. And we need to make sure that we get these records sealed so individuals can be able to learn how to live. And I want to thank you all so much. And thank you, Latrice Walker, for, you know, holding on that seal bill and making sure that we seal these records. Not only we repeal, but we repeal and we seal. So let's repeal and seal. And thank you so much. And I yield back. Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.